guys, it's Tahira, and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I want to read in 2021. Now I know that it is already the end of January. It's literally January 31st, the day I'm filming this, so I am a bit late with this video, but I have a lot of 2021 releases that I'm really excited about, and a couple of books that came out last year in 2020 that are kind of like my top of the TBR right now, so I'm going to be talking about those today. So I have 15 books to talk about today that are releasing throughout the year, so I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about them. The first book I'm going to be talking about actually came out January 12th, so it's already out, and that is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. Concrete Rose is I think it's like a companion novel to The Hate You Give. Everyone knows The Hate You Give, which came out I believe in 2017. It was super popular when it first came out. I have read and loved both of Angie Thomas's books, The Hate You Give and On the Come Up, and I just think she's a fantastic writer and she talks about really important issues, so I'm really excited for this one. So The Concrete Rose follows Maverick Carter, who knows he has to be kind of the man of the house to take care of his family. And as the son of a former gang legend, the only way he knows how to do this is to deal, because with this money he can help out his mom, who is working 2 jobs while his dad is in prison. And then Maverick finds out that he's a father and he's going to be having a son, and he has to deal with it as well as learning how to take care of his family. Now moving on to the month of February, the first book that's coming out this month that I'm really excited for is The Project by Courtney Summers. Courtney Summers is the author of Sadie, which I have read and have really loved, so I'm of course excited to read her next book. I think this one has something to do with a cult, or at least that's what it sounds like reading the description of the book, but it just sounds very cool. The project follows our main character Lo Denham, who after her parents died, her sister B joins this group called the Unity Project. The Unity Project is a group that outwardly seems like it's a very great group. It's known for a lot of charitable work and community outreach, but Lo feels like there's something more sinister going on behind the scenes and she wants to prove it. And then a man shows up at the magazine that Lo works at and he claims that the Unity Project killed his son. So Lo finds that this is a perfect opportunity to expose the group. It sounds like the Unity Project is a weird cult thing going on. I don't know, it sounds very cool, but I'm really excited for this one. I feel like I'm going to use the word excited way too many times because I don't know, I'm just excited for all of these books. That's why I'm talking about them. But the next book comes out on February 9th, and that is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. So The Gilded Ones sounds so good. It follows a 16-year-old Decca who is in anticipation of the blood ceremony that will determine whether she becomes a member of the village. And Decca is hoping for red blood so that everything will be fine, but on the day of the ceremony her blood actually runs gold, which means impurity. Then a mysterious woman comes and she basically tells her that you can either stay in the village and submit to your fate or go and fight for the emperor with a group of girls that are just like you. And apparently these girls are the only people who can stop like this threat that's coming. This book sounds a lot like a typical YA fantasy, but it's a type of story that I think I'm gonna love because I really love stories like just pure fantasy. And also it's inspired by West African fantasy as well, which I think the only one I've read that's inspired by Africa is The Children of Blood and Bone, which I have a whole weird history with because I liked it and then I didn't like it, and yeah, but I'm really excited for this one. And also the girl on the cover is absolutely gorgeous. And the last February book is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this cover is very ugly. Like the gray is just not, it's just not it. I honestly don't know too much about this book. It is, I think, a continuation of the Court of Thorns and Roses series, which I really love. Sarah J Maas is one of my favorite authors, and all I know is that this book follows Nesta and Castian after the events of the previous, I guess, trilogy. I don't know if this is a separate trilogy or if it's like a big 6-book series now, I'm not sure. But Sarah J Maas is my favorite author. I'm sure I'm gonna love it just as I've loved all her other books as well. The next book is in March. It comes out March 2nd, and it's probably my most anticipated book of the entire year, and that is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. I read Chain of Gold last year and it was one of my favorite books of last year. I love Cassandra Clare. Just everything she puts out I just love. So of course I know I'm gonna love this one. And I've said this before, Chain of Gold has probably one of my favorite cast of characters out of all her series. Also because it follows the children of the main cast of the Infernal Devices, and Infernal Devices is probably one of my favorite series out of all of her trilogies, but yeah, I know I'm gonna love this one and I can't wait for it to come out. The next book comes out on March 9th, and that is Actor Age Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. I have read Get a Life Chloe Brown and Take a Hint Danny Brown in the past, I think, couple months, and I have loved both of them. They're both really, really cute. One of the things I really love about the Brown sisters books is that all of the main characters are plus size, but that is never really dwelled upon in the books, and I think that's really important. And also, like, Talia Hibbert just writes the cutest stuff, and I know I'm really gonna love Actor Age Eve Brown, and I'm really excited for it. Moving on to the month of April, I think there's only like one book that's coming out in April that I have put on this list, and that is Zara Hussain Is Here by Sabina Khan. This book first caught my eye because it's about a Pakistani Muslim girl, and hello, that's literally me. But this book follows 17-year-old Zara Hussain, who's a Pakistani immigrant, and she lives in Texas and kind of has to deal with the Islamophobia that happens at her school, and she kind of stays quiet about it because she doesn't want to do anything to jeopardize her visa process she's been in for 9 years. But then Zara's tormentor and star football player Tyler ends up leaving a threatening note which gets him suspended. In order for him to get revenge on her, he graffitis racist things at her house, which lead to a violent and racist crime. And then Zara Hussain has to kind of deal with that. I read Sabina Khan's other book, which is The Love and Lies of Rukhsana Ali, and I did enjoy that one. I found that there were some things, I had some problems with it, but overall it was a good book that talked about a lot of important things. But I am really excited for this one. I have really high hopes, and I also think the cover just looks cool. Now moving on to May, the first book is coming out on May 4th, and that is Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. Now, Victoria Aveyard is a very well-known author. She wrote the Red Queen series, which everyone knows about. The Red Queen series I read a really, really long time ago. Probably when I was like 13 or 14, so almost like 5 or 6 years ago. Realmbreaker, the cover actually looks ugly too, and like I don't know what this book is about, but like looking at Goodreads, it looks like it has something to do with a band of unlikely companions. You know, the type of book that everyone would compare to like Six of Crows. But it looks like that these 6 people have to work together to fight some vicious opponent. I have high hopes for it because I did enjoy Red Queen when I read it in its time, and I'm hoping that Victoria Aveyard also grew as an author, so I am excited to pick this one up. The next book is coming out May 13th, and that is Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman. This is a graphic novel that follows Charlie and Nick, and the whole graphic novel is about their friendship that leads to a relationship. It's so cute. Literally, their relationship is so pure and just one of the cutest I've ever read about, and it just makes me so happy when I read this book, so I'm really, really excited for this one to come out. Someone should count how many times I've said the word excited in this video because I think it's a lot. The next book is coming out May 25th, and this is probably one of my other most anticipated releases of this year, and that is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Taylor Jenkins Reid is a well-known author because she wrote The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six, and both of those I really, really loved. Especially 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I just love that book so much, and I'm so excited for this one. I have a really high hopes. This book takes place in Malibu in the August of 1983, and it follows these 4 siblings, and they're having like an end of summer party, but by midnight the party is completely out of control, and by morning the house is up in flames. So I think this book kind of follows the events of that night. And also these siblings are famous, so I think like Taylor Jenkins Reid has like a trend of writing about like celebrities or like musicians, actresses, just people that are like in the spotlight, and I think she does it really well, so I'm really excited for this one. I said excited again, I don't even know. Now moving on to June, the next book comes out June 1st, and that is One Last Stop by Casey McQuestion. This author wrote the book Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is a cute romance novel that everyone really, really loved, and I think it came out either last year or the year before. But as I said, I really loved that one, so I'm excited for this one as well. I just said excited again. This book follows August, who lives in New York City, and she is very cynical. She's kind of tired of the way her life is being like going on right now. And then she meets a gorgeous girl on the train who turns out to be from the 1970s. And August is going to have to help her with her situation, and I think there's like a cute romance between them, and I'm just really excited. I just said excited again. The next book also comes out on June 1st, and that is An Emotion of Great Delight by tahirareads. This takes place in the year 2003, a few months after US has declared a war on Iraq. And because of this, the Muslim community is being harassed, and Shadi, the main character, wears a hijab, so she tries to keep her head down. Shadi is also haunted by sorrow because her brother is dead, her father is dying, and her mother is falling apart. So she's trying to just live her life, but then one day everything changes. And I don't know what happens after that, but I have read A Very Large Expanse of Sea by tahirareads. I read Shatter Me a really long time ago. That's her like most famous series. It's not really my thing. I didn't really love it, but I did really enjoy A Very Large Expanse of Sea, mainly because it does follow a Muslim main character, something that I can kind of relate to. But one thing that I find interesting is that these books are following Muslim main characters in the early 2000s, which is a very different time for Muslims than it is now, and something that I can't relate to. So it is really interesting and thought-provoking to learn about what it was like living as a Muslim during that time. And the next book is coming out on June 15th, and that is The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. This is the 4th book in the Truly Devious series, and I read the first 2 books, Truly Devious and The Vanishing Stair. And I haven't read The Hand on the Wall yet, which is the 3rd book, but Truly Devious is one of my favorite series. It's just so good. It's a really good mystery series that I feel like there's not a lot of mystery books in YA, or maybe that's just me. And as someone who doesn't really read mystery books a lot, I feel like this is a good, easy way to start reading it. And even though I haven't really read the 3rd book, I'm still excited for the 4th book because I know the series is really good. That was actually the last book of the books coming out in 2021. I didn't realize that I only stopped at June. I think it's because I don't really know too many of the books that are coming out later in the year, or there's like not really a lot of information published about those books. So I might make another video halfway through the year about the books for the second half of the year. I don't know yet. But the last 2 books I'm going to be talking about are books that came out in 2020, and they were like my most anticipated of last year that I'm making a big priority to read this year. And the first one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This was a very anticipated book for me, but I didn't get a chance to read it last year. And this book was also very highly anticipated by the entire book community. Everyone was looking forward to it. This book follows, I think, a girl who makes a deal with the devil to become immortal, but she's cursed to be forgotten by everyone she meets. It sounds really good, and I know that there are a lot of mixed reviews for this. Some people say that it's just not good, and then other people loved it, so I'm really hoping I'm on the side of the people who loved it. V.E. Schwab is one of my favorite authors. I read all her other books and loved them, so I'm really excited for this one, and I know that she worked on this book for a really long time, so I'm really looking forward to it. And the last book on this list also came out in December, and that is A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir. This book is the 4th and final book to the Ember and the Ashes series, which is one of my favorite series. I love that fantasy series so much. And this is a long-awaited conclusion, and we all know Sabaa Tahir loves to torture us by hurting these characters, so I'm really scared for this one, but I really am looking forward to it as well. Yeah, it's definitely a priority for me to read it this year. Anyway, those are all the books that I want to read in 2021. Let me know down below what's your most anticipated release of this year, as I would love to know. But that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!